Good morning, class. I welcome you back to the Lagos and its environs class, HSS 219, Lagos and its environs since 1900. Before we proceed in our first outline, which should be the geostrategic and geopolitical importance of Lagos, all right, considering it in terms of migration and how Lagos has been so central to geopolitical developments in Nigeria and even West Africa, it is important for us to again consider the question of indigeneity, which has actually been a subject of controversy among scholars, among traditional rulers, among many stakeholders. Lagos has been dubbed a no man's city, as we have witnessed in recent times. Among many other political elites, you've heard that Lagos belongs to no man, and some, particularly, say Lagos belong to the Benin. Of course, one of such development was on November 26, 2023, when the Oba of Benin ignited a huge controversy about the early history of Lagos. When he asserted tenaciously that Lagos was founded by the Benin. He did so by making the claim that the Edo people of the Benin Kingdom were the founders of Lagos. All right. So in a way, there has been so much controversy on who owns Lagos in recent times, basically between the indigenes and the non-indigenes, between Omo those are the indigenes, and Araiko, the residents. So it is in this context that a little knowledge of the history of Lagos may remove the blinkers from our eyes. So before proceeding, before we will consider other issues that we would also discuss in this lecture, it is very, very significant that we also address the question of indigeneity in Lagos. All right, so the Oba of Benin, in an admirably polished speech, as we have seen in several clips that trended during the end of the year 2023, he made the following statement: that Lagos was founded by the Benin, that the Benin founded the nucleus of Lagos, and that the Benin founded the origin of Lagos. So these are very, very strong claims that has been pushed by several historians, politicians, and it is very important for us who are students of history to put the facts in proper perspective. So what we will do is to lay out for the Oba of Benin and other scholars and students who are probably interested in the history of Lagos, to lay out that most ascertain history of Lagos, from the best knowledge, from the studies of African history, we have to use historical anthropology and other sources, linguistics, and written records, to buttress, and to also consolidate, the knowledge, existing knowledge, that Lagos, was founded not by the Benin, but by the Awori people. All right. So the peopling of the coastal forest and island of Lagos area, occurred in very ancient era, when the Yoruba people, consisting of their many subgroups, occupied the large forest and coastal territories that is the Yoruba homeland today. We've already established that that the establishment of Lagos was actually happened after the death of Oduduwa and the dispersal of several progenies of Oduduwa to the several part of what is now Yoruba land today. All right. So the Yoruba subgroup, as Professor Akintoye has actually posited, they are known. The sub-Yoruba group who occupied Lagos during this period are known as the Awori, and they settled in Lagos area in those very ancient period. The Awori are one of the Yoruba subgroups. All right, just like we have the Egba, the Jebu, so in the context of Lagos, they are one of the Yoruba subgroups. One best known fact about the Yoruba nation is that it comprises many subgroups, differentiated by dialects of their common Yoruba language. All right, Professor Kitoye, for instance, had put it in a very clear and explicit perspective. He said, for the avoidance of doubt, about what we are describing, it is very, very clear for us to add that the main Yoruba subgroups, from the Yoruba territories near the Niger-Benue confluence, generally southwards, they were the Oworo, the Bunu, Owe, the Iyagba, the Jumu, Ìjẹ̀ṣà Èkìtì, Àkókò Ọ̀wọ̀, Òwu, Ẹ̀gbá, Ìbàràpá, Yewa, Ketu. So Yoruba, have quite a number of subgroups. All right. So among them are the Aworis, who probably migrated from Ile-Ife to settle in Lagos around the 11th century. All right. So the Edo are not a Yoruba subgroup. They are an entirely different ethnic groups. Okay. So a separate people or nation, just as the Nupe, the Igala, the Hausa, the Ijaw are separate peoples or nations during the pre-colonial period. So they are geographically very, very so disconnected from the socio-cultural and political development or anthropology of Lagos, basically before the 16th century. So the Edo homeland, for instance, and the homeland of the Awori subgroup of the Yoruba are not contiguous. That is what you're trying to say. So the argument by the Oba of Benin and several Benin and other historians that Lagos was founded by the Benin is actually born out of erroneous view and palpable ignorance of the historical anthropology of Lagos. Between the Edo territory and the Lagos territory of the Awori, as Professor Akintoye had well established, there are the territories of the Yoruba subgroups like the Shekiri, the Owo, Ondo, Ilaje, Ikale, and Ijebu. So, according to the best knowledge of history from archaeology and historical linguistics, all right, as Professor Akintoye had also demonstrated, the different people of today's Nigeria's Middle Belt and South Yoruba, Igbo, Nupe, Igala, Gbayi, Edo, and others evolved on the Middle Niger, all right, into distinct linguistic or ethnic groups or nations about 4,000 years ago. Okay, so from there, these ethnic groups or nations spread out over millennia, all right, and occupied the territories that are now their homelands. So all the available evidence suggests that each of these nations had settled in its present homeland by about 6,000 BC or about 8,000 years ago. Okay, so all over the land, forest, country, and coastland that became the Yoruba homeland in those ancient times, the earliest Yoruba people spread out in subgroup after subgroup. Do you understand? So it is from these earliest times that the Awori, one of these Yoruba subgroups, settled in the coastland, all right, an island that are now known as Lagos, with the Jebu subgroups to their immediate east and northeast, with the Ilaje and the Kale further to the east, and the Shekiri still further to the east, on the coast. So the argument that Lagos was established by the Benin is actually a flimsy rhetorics actually pushed by certain people to achieve some specific objectives. The Awori settled in a coastland forest consisting of their coastal forest and coastal inland. Their most inland groups of settlement was located in Ota. So presently, Ota, the Awori can be found in different parts of Lagos. You can find, of course, in Ido, in Ota, for instance, and quite a number of places in Lagos. Another group of their settlement lived in Isheri, which was one of the most ancestral place, one of the first places the Awori settled, a short distance south of Ota, on the lower bank of the Ogun River. You will recall in our 100 level when we were looking at the migration of the Awori, Olofin Ogunfunminire, we mentioned the Isheri resonated strongly, and Ogun River also was so significant in the migration of the Awori people from Ile-Ife. So another group existed at what became known as Ebutemeta along a part of the Lagoon coast, which was significant or central to the settlement of the Awori. All right. We also mentioned in our 100 level class that another group of Awori settled on Ido Island, and another settled on the largest island of the area, the island later known as Lagos Island. Of course, we demonstrated that in our previously to another level. The guy Dungoran, how Aromire, one of the eldest son of Olofin Ogunfunminire, proceeded from Ido to settle to establish a pepper farm, in what has actually become the guy Idungoran, all right, in the contemporary and the modern era. So we said there are other Awori settlements along part of the coast, all the way westward to the area of modern Badagry, where Awori and Egun settled, also interspersed, and this actually contributed to the presence, to the dominance of the Awori, even before the 15th century. In about the 9th century, historically, if we want to go back, a very important revolution started in Ile-Ife, in central Yoruba land, and over the next 6th century, about 1600 AD, it swept over the whole of Yoruba land. I've mentioned that this revolution resulted in the creation of the unified kingdoms and towns all over Yoruba land. It transformed the ancient clumps of small and separate settlements into united kingdoms and towns everywhere in Yoruba. I mentioned that it was following the demise of Oduduwa, which is his rallying point among the Yoruba people, that this dispersion actually occurred in Ile-Ife. Starting from Ile-Ife in the 9th century AD, this revolution continued until about the 16th century and turned Yoruba into a country of many notable, proud kingdoms and many rich towns, and made Yoruba land the most urbanized expanse of territory in the whole of Africa. If you have read the work of Akin Ogundiran, several articles on Yoruba history. So in the land of the Awori subgroup, the kingdom creating revolution, resulted in the creation of an Awori kingdom at Ota, another at Isheri, another at Lagos Island, which we've demonstrated in our 100 level class when we were looking at the movement of the Awori, Olofin Ogunfunminire and his descendants first disembarked from the Ogun River at Isheri. From Isheri they moved to Ido, and from Ido the children, the progenies of Olofin Ogunfunminire dispersed. One of such was the movement of Aromire crossing the river in Ido to establish a pepper farm in what is now known as Iga-Idungoran, where you have the palace of the Oba of Lagos. So historians believe that this Awori kingdom were created in the course of the 11th century, according to linguistic, according to archaeological, and according to oral traditions. All right. So in about the 12th century, according to this tradition, Yoruba people and the Edo people, who perhaps are actually one of the closest neighbor of the Yoruba in the southeastern forest, sent to the Oba of Ife for help. Of course, these are some of the things you have done in your West African history, your Nigerian history, 1000 AD up to 1500. I think all of this has been covered explicitly. So we need not to belabor that aspect. So their problem was that the Edo country, the immediate neighbor to the Yoruba land, was being disrupted by conflict. Of course, this was the Ogiso era, if you recall in your West African history. And the help they wanted was that the Oba of Ife should help them to bring the Yoruba kind of political order or institution to the Edo country. Right, so it is important that we lay all of these facts to bear, so that we have a broader understanding of the historical anthropology of Yoruba land before the 15th and 16th century when Benin came. So the Oba of Ife responded by sending one of the grandsons, a young warrior prince named Oromiyan, to go and help the Edo. Okay, so Oromiyan went, he fought and subdued several warring Edo groups, and also created a Benin kingdom, a kingdom in the same fashion, the same structure like the Ife kingdom. And after ruling the Benin kingdom for some years, Oromiyan decided that the kingdom should not be ruled by him, a non-Edo and a foreigner, but also by an Edo man. And Oromiyan in this contest, no, and the Edo elders therefore installed no as the king no of the kingdom, no a young son born to Oromiyan by one of his Edo wives, no a boy born and raised in Edo culture according to no oral tradition and no established no written records. Okay, so that young king named Awori is the progenitor of all the kings in the Benin kingdom till today. All right, and that is why Edo kings are today counted among the Yoruba kings and among the sons of Oduduwa. So perhaps this if any strong connection exists, no, before between the Yorubas and the Benin. Of course, this is historical and cultural no connection between them. But that is not to say that that actually transcended, all right, no, into the occupation of Lagos, all right, as the Benin's narrative has actually stated. All right. So according to the tradition of all the Benin, we have looked at the ways in which the earliest of non-Awori people to come trading with the Awori on the Awori coastal island of Lagos, even long before the Awori had created any kingdom, were the Ilajes. So if any group actually came to Lagos, all right, before the 16th century or 15th century, for whatever reasons, were the Ilajes. According to the traditions of all the coastal Yoruba subgroups, the Ilaje were the earliest pioneers of trade along the Yoruba coast, which has been established. Later, the Jebu traders, and later still the Kale traders, and then the Egun, the Anago the traders from the west, came to trade, and also with and among the Awori. So there was intergroup relations between the Awori and these other coastal communities. All right, from Lagos to Ijebu, Ekpe to the Mahin areas, all right, and the Ilaje, Ishekiri, and so. So the coastal trade existed even long before the coming of the earliest European explorers and traders to the coast of West Africa in about the 1470 ADs. Okay, so the argument that the Benin actually founded Lagos does not hold, okay, because Benin's entry into Lagos didn't occur until the arrival of the Europeans, and that should be noted. So following the coming of the Europeans, okay, European trade in about the 1470 and its expansion along the coast of West Africa, the European traders were attracted particularly to ports like Lagos, the Benin port, the Guato and Ishekiri port, all right, town of Awori, and quite a stuff, and that is very well registered. The vibrant trade in European imported goods enhanced the trade and wealth of these port towns of the Yoruba kingdoms. The kingdom of Ishekiri on the southeastern coast, and for a start, the closest relationship with the European traders. So this was some of the connection perhaps that existed between the Yorubas and the Benin during this period. So if there were perhaps some interactions, it wasn't in Lagos, all right, in terms of with the Yorubas. So, but the location of the Shekiri kingdom was so much accessible to the European traders that the port of the Benin, than the port of the Benin kingdom. This was perhaps the means channel through which Benin, the Europeans even established contact, with the Benin. All right, so therefore, most of the European trade along the Yoruba coast went to the Benin port, and it is quite understandable. The Portuguese, as we've demonstrated in our previous class, needed to have unbridled access with the Benin kingdom for where important commodities were obtained. All right, so most of the European trade along the Yoruba coast went to the Benin ports until about the 1550s. When the port of the Benin coast controlled most of the coastal trade and became the source of most imported goods going into the eastern parts of the Yoruba interior. So as a result, the Benin kingdom became for about a century the richest and the most powerful kingdom on the West African coast, and the most memorable West African kingdoms among the Europeans. These are very well established facts. As a matter of fact, in the early years of the European coastal trade, the port of Lagos was known to and desired by the European traders, but reaching it with their biggest boats from the sea was made quite very difficult by sandbars along the entry to the Lagos port. So, however, over time, the Europeans both gradually mastered the difficulty, and by 1550s, Lagos was attracting increasingly large share of the European trade along the coast. All right. So, as the natural port to the extensive and heavily urbanized Yoruba country in the interior, Lagos seamlessly blossomed into a massive commercial center from about the 1550s. And this was quite understandable because of the aquatic splendor of Lagos. So nearly all European traders along the West African coast traded with Lagos. And you can see that that is why this topic is quite very, very important, because I said the geostrategic importance of Lagos is so central to the development, not only in West African geopolitics, but even to the Europeans. Not even Lagos was not only central to other African kingdoms because of the location, its location, and its aquatic splendor. All right, which was a connecting point to the outside world. So this growing commercial importance of Lagos attracted to Lagos more and more indigenous traders from all over the West African coast. The Ilaje, Ijebu, Ikale, Ishekiri, who had traditionally traded to Lagos, and now the Edo traders from Benin Kingdom and Ijo traders and traders from the Yoruba interior kingdoms. All of these traders, all of them found their way to Lagos in a way to contribute, to participate in these flourishing commercial activities in this port city. And it was in this dimension, it was through this dimension that Benin also found their way to Lagos. And of course, this was around the 15th and 16th century. So by about the 1580s, for instance, Lagos had become the greatest commercial center on the coast of West Africa. Okay, and its trade with European traders had totally surpassed that of the Benin Kingdom. And very many Edo traders were coming to trade in Lagos, and Lagos became very famous in Benin. And this was the precursor to the Benin's intervention, Benin's perhaps subjugation. All right, if it was the subjugation of Lagos. All right, so many Benin traders started coming to Lagos. So it became like a special Lagos status grew in importance among the Benin traders. The rulers of Benin Kingdom responded to this by embarking on an attempt to seize, to control, and to possess the flourishing trade in Lagos. That is the context in which the Oba of Lagos perhaps was saying that, so if you came to somewhere to trade, and as a result of your as a result of sophistry or political or militarism and all of that, you're able to overwhelm or to influence the political and economic system, does that actually translate into being the autochthonous people? Does it translate into a question of autochthony? And this cannot be said. So I said the ruler of Benin responded by embarking on an attempt to control, to subjugate the flourishing city. Fortunately, there are quite a lot of written records by the Portuguese and by other Europeans, which has actually corroborated all of these assertions, as we have demonstrated. So the background to this is that the background to the Benin's influence, as we have demonstrated in our 100 level class, is that a succession dispute was going on between two princes, all right, of the Awori kingdom of Lagos. I've demonstrated that in our previous last semester, and the Benin decided to support one of the princes to win the throne, and thereby turn the Awori kingdom of Lagos into a vassal of the Benin kingdom. And this all happened around the 16th century. All right. So the Benin forces were successful for some time, and the prince supported by Benin became considerably stronger than his rival. But by because the fighting was not yet over, in spite of all of this, so the tussles became so protracted. All right, it lasted over a few years, and in the further fighting, the commander of the Benin forces was murdered, was killed. All right, this was Aseru. So the near victorious prince named Ashipa in most traditions, all right, then decided to further seal his relationship with the Benin by offering to lead the group that was taking the body of the dead Benin commander to Benin. All right, so in Benin, this Awori prince met the Oba of Benin, according to Professor Akintoye. All right, and the Oba of Benin declared him his adopted son. You can see the trends and pattern, because history is not a predictable mechanism. All right, it is not a choreographic performance in which all march and dance in one direction. So it is based on logic, it is based on evidence and interpretation of data. All right, so some of the traditions have it that Ashipa also married a Benin wife, a Benin wife in Benin, and it was in this process that the relationship between the Yoruba prince, all right, Ashipa, and the Benin kingdom was actually tightened. Ashipa returned home into continued opposition, and in the midst of serious contention, he was crowned Oba of Lagos. Okay, so as the opposition to him never relented, he was forced to lean and harp continually on his Benin support, as many sources, especially Akintoye, has demonstrated in his rejoinder to the Oba of Benin. Okay, so some traditions have it that of course, to show support for this embattled Oba of Lagos, the Oba of Benin paid a brief visit to Lagos in those periods. And of course, the implication of all of this. Benin actually uses hegemony as one of the strong imperial power to reckon with during the period in the 16th century. So in the midst of all of this, the Oba of Benin and his leading Awori supporters started the tradition that he was a prince from Benin, a descendant of Oba of Benin. This was when history was distorted. All right, the last time we took our excursions to the palace of the Oba of Lagos, the Oba of Lagos, His Royal Majesty Oba Keolu, also retorted. He also mentioned that his royal line is traced to Benin, that Benin established Lagos. But these are the issues we contended with the Oba, that Lagos cannot be established by Benin. So the fact actually stated that the origin of Benin's influence in Lagos started in the 16th century, not in the 11th century. All right, so this is the origin of the tradition that claims the Benin origin of Oba of Lagos. So the tradition actually from this period claims that a Benin origin of Lagos was stronger than that of the Awori. So the Benin tradition in most cases actually asserted that it was the Benin people that, indeed, as we've examined in our previous class, Benin undoubtedly influenced the socio-political development in Lagos, and especially the political systems in Lagos. But the Benin kingdom never succeeded in capturing and controlling Lagos or its bouncing trade. No. In fact, as the commerce of Lagos flourished more and more, bountifully, and Lagos developed into the great emporium in West Africa in the course of the centuries after 1600, the trade in Benin declined sharply, and relentlessly, as scholars, especially Professor Akintoye again, has mentioned. So other problems added to the weakness of the Benin kingdom in these centuries, resulting in the fact that the Benin kingdom never recovered, but went on declining until it was conquered by the British in 1897. So Benin cannot claim to have founded Lagos or owned Lagos. The Lagos kingdom had its own trouble too. The troubles emanating from the royal politics of the kingdom's princes. They were quite plethora in Lagos, even in the 19th century. After the death of Oshilokun, his children, you could see the succession disputes that played on from the 1830s thereabout up to the middle of the 19th century. we could see how all of this actually affected. So these were some of the means through which Lagos, was actually influenced by the Benin in the 16th and 17th century. So, but in the roaring commercial and economic prosperity of Lagos, the politics of the royal princes, became hardly more than side show. All right, it wasn't so that very very troublesome. So the troubles of the Ashipa era ended with his passing in about 1630. I've already stated that according to many accounts, this didn't actually, it did snowball into the previous centuries or even the 19th century. From about the 1830s, further development occurred rapidly in Lagos. Such was the abolition of the slave trade and the coming of liberated former slaves returning from Americas. They began to settle in Lagos, bringing great transformational influences with them. And all of these are some of the processes which we have examined that actually shaped the development and modernization of Lagos. In the course of the 1840s, as Professor Akintoye also noted, a great new factor came, namely the missionaries of various Christian denominations. All right, all of these also influenced the development of Lagos. But none of these, including the Portuguese, could argue that they actually established Lagos. Or the Portuguese even came to Lagos before the arrival of the Benin. Why shouldn't the Portuguese claim that no, we didn't meet anybody here? No, but that is not so. All right. So meanwhile, the commerce had become so great that the various European countries on the island were getting into conflict with one another over shares in the trade, which we have examined. And when the succession dispute erupted between two princes in 1851, one of the Europeans, with great force in it, they supported one of the princes against the other. The Kosoko, Imbroglio, and Akitoye. We all know all of this. So the British couldn't have said that because we helped the other faction to regain the throne, that we should not assert our history, our narrative, and impose it on the people and say that the British founded Lagos. These are historical fallacy that should be discarded by anyone who is interested in objective historical analysis. Okay, so the coming of the British era also saw several transformations, especially Western education, which we are going to examine in the course of this lecture. All right. So in short, the point we are trying to say is that for the next 2 centuries and more after Ashipa's time, Lagos flew into high skies of prosperity and greatness that the kingdom of the Benin kingdom could not even imagine. So it is born, the argument that Benin founded Lagos by the Oba, as the Oba of Benin claimed, is just a historical fallacy born out of palpable ignorance of historical anthropology of Lagos, if not a misconception. So to summarize then, it is indisputable that the Awori are a subgroup of the Yoruba nation, that they are not descendants of the Edo, okay, and that they were the earliest settlers of Lagos Island and its neighboring forests, far before the coming of the Europeans and far before the arrival of the Benin's in the 16th century. All right, so we will further explain this broadly in the course of our class discussion. Thank you very much. If you have any question, you can put on the post, and you remember to subscribe so that you can be abreast of the tutorial. I'll see you in the main class next week. Thank you very much.